Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Inspired by Miss Amber Red. I am here today with Miss Kelly. Hey girl.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We also have Sasha here today, you guys, because Amber needs a little support, but not support.
So I'll just be here and jump in from time to time.
Yeah. But Kelly, you want to introduce yourself? Tell them a little bit about you.
Sure. My name is Kelly Krieger. I own Kelly Kreation in central Pennsylvania. I have been doing semi-permanent cosmetics for, probably 7 years by now, 7 or 8. I've lost track. And I love it. It's my life. It's my outlet. I'm constantly seeking further education, and that's how I met Amber. I came across her work on TikTok, and I was so impressed. I was like, I have to book this right now. I have to go see her immediately.
Oh, we love you. Thank you.
We love you.
Aw, you, girl, though, I was telling Sasha actually about you got a look going on right now. You've always done really cool shit, but you got a good look happening. You got somebody in there doing videos? You got somebody in there doing something? There's something new happening over there.
Yeah, we're always trying to refine the marketing, and me and Logan are kind of just really zoning in on exactly the story we want to tell with the social media, and I think it's coming together finally.
No, I love it. I like your videos. I'm like, oh, there's a little different, a little something happening. I literally just said that, Sasha, before we got on camera. I was like, she's got something new happening over there. I got to dig a little deeper with that.
Mix it up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's constantly challenging to keep it different, creative, branch out. What have I not done before? It's a full-time job.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's with work, too, right? It's we start in a place, and then we get to a point where it's which is actually what we're going to talk about, but we get to a point where it's what else can we do to kind of push the boundaries? So, is there anything that you want to talk about specifically? I know we were going to talk a little bit about experimental permanent makeup stuff, but you want to give them a little backstory about what did you start with? What did you first learn? Did you love it? Did you hate it? A little bit about that, and then how it's kind of transitioned into what you're doing now, the really cool things that you're doing now.
Yeah. So microblading, when it first came out, there was other, permanent makeup's been around for a long time. And at that point I had been doing, lashes, the majority just lashes all the time. And it did start to come up in the area I'm from. So I thought, better jump on the bandwagon. I think I would really enjoy doing this, and I took a training. And I felt like the training was, there was 30 people in the room and there was 3 instructors. So it was very difficult to kind of grasp the concept and break it down. It was sort of here's the spaceship, here's the parts, go. So it was very mentally defeating for a long time. But I just kept taking education, just kept seeking out to learn just a little more each time from each person. And just trying to grow. I feel like I can speak for a lot of artists. We're very hard on ourselves, and we constantly seek to be better or perfect, or just keep aiming for this level that really doesn't exist. And at first, I felt like it was a really long time before I felt confident. I knew the work wasn't terrible, but I also knew, it could be better. So I think one of the beneficial parts of starting it when it was first popping up in the area was, people didn't have a lot to compare it to.
Yeah.
So, it was as long as you were constantly improving your education and practicing, and not only that, it seems like every year there's new ink, new developments, new techniques, new needles, new mapping techniques, new styles. So it's a lot to keep up with. It's a forever evolving runaway train. So I feel like, it was a long time before I felt really confident. And then it was just building on that. And, it's interesting seeing clients even from 3 or 4 years ago, they come back and it's like, oh, you like that? Oh, okay. Well, just wait till you can see what I can do now.
So I had a lady. It's funny you said that because I had a lady literally just a couple days ago. And okay, so she's had eye surgeries and things since I've seen her last. But she came in and I'm like looking at her eyebrows and I'm like, what the heck is going on? She's like, you did them. Because I said that to her. And I was like, what year did we do those? She's like, 2018. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, girl, come here. I was like, we're drawing a new shape on you. And she's like, yeah. And that was at the point. She was like, well, you did them. Is there something wrong? I'm like, no. Things have just come they've just come a long way.
Exactly. That's exactly the feeling, and it's, you just have to stay humble and stay hungry and just constantly want to be better. And I really appreciate that about you as an educator, that you are very humble and very, giving with information and constantly improving yourself and wanting your students to be successful as well.
Oh, absolutely. Because it's like you said, it's constantly changing. And like, nobody knows everything. Like, it's impossible because there's so many different things happening all the time. Whether, like you said, like with color, with techniques, with styles, with like everything happening. So for sure. Yeah. So how you made a comment, like how long was it that you said it took you a long time to like feel comfortable and confident? Like, about how many years in would you say that started happening for you?
Probably two. And probably two. Yeah, I would say, before I was like, okay, I have the mapping down. I have, XYZ is in line. And then it was like, okay, how can I make that even better? And I think it was at that point, maybe it was like the powder brow was real big on the scene. And I went and learned that. And it was just like, oh, now we're combining them. Now we're doing microblading and powder brow, the combo brow, and evolving past that, and then simultaneously too, it's like the brow evolution is starting and continuing, and it's, going pretty fast. And then it's like, oh, lip blushing is popping up. Permanent eyeliner is popping up. Oh, we're doing wings on the liner. Oh, we're going to do this smoky now. It's like, it was just a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So with that,
a lot of growth.
Because I feel like with artists, we don't have to dive deep into this. I just kind of had a thought, but with all that happening too, and I know you're in your beautiful studio right now, right? I'm like trying to kind of peek behind you a little bit.
Yes.
So with that, balancing, because I have Sasha, but like balancing the studio life and then balancing like the artistic side of, so it's like, there's so much to juggle. Is that something, do you have a Sasha? Do you not have a Sasha? Are you still doing this all on your own?
I do have a social media manager, and I've had different ones throughout the years. And I feel that I have the best one so far. He is just phenomenal, and we really work together well. And it is a lot to balance. It's like, growing your skills and customer relationships and education. And then, like you said, the whole other side of telling your story and marketing and having things project how you want them to. And, it's so much, and it's all the time.
It's weird because I just literally, like, this week I was like, you know what? Miss Amber Red is me. Like, I've always kind of felt that. I just feel weird. I'm like, I don't know. It like makes me cringe. Victor, my husband's like, what is wrong with you? But it makes me cringe that you're like, oh, I'm an artist at Miss Amber Red. I'm like, what? No, you're not. I'm Miss Amber Red. I've been pushing hard, like the inspired by Miss Amber Red thing, because I'm like, eventually at some point, like it's ever changing too, right? So it's like, yes. You went from Amber to Miss Amber Red to like inspired by Miss Amber Red, and eventually just inspired. Like, I want these artists to be like artist under inspired, not Miss Amber Red, because I want to be Amber at Miss Amber or at inspired by. So
it's because you're humble.
Oh,
but.
Thanks. It's weird to me.
Give credit where credit is due. Like you said, you feel cringy, but you have a big platform and it's constantly growing, and don't take that from yourself at the same time. You put in the work.
Yeah.
You're the boss bitch.
Yeah. I try to tell her that all the time, guys. She's like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes.
Yeah. Sasha will say something. Don't say that. Like, stop it. It's weird.
Like, pat yourself on the back.
I do hate the phrase like girl boss.
Yeah.
Don't say any of that sort of stuff around me.
She hates the word boss. Okay. hates it.
I'm just an artist and I want to be an artist at a studio. So maybe that's why I'm like pushing for that transition so hard. I feel like it's coming along pretty good though in these last couple months. I'm like, dang, okay, there's that vision I've always had. Like I want it just to be a community of a bunch of different artists, you being your individual self, and the studio's kind of developed into that. Like each artist is kind of designing their own room. So when you go in there, it looks like like since you've even been and seen us, like the studio has developed into like little art studios within a studio. It's like really kind of cool. Actually, we're going to do a tour soon as Jess gets that room more decorated. But anyways, before we go down that road, back to permanent makeup and tattooing, was there a certain thing that you like the most?
Well, I really do love lip blushing. There's just something about it. And it's so interesting. It's like, you can get so experimental with it too. You know, it's like you have all the pinks and the reds and the corals, and I've actually even done a purple and blue lip blush before.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
She gets to do so much fun stuff, Sasha.
Yeah.
Like so much fun stuff. I was like, hey, Kelly, how you getting all these? So actually, let's go there. So this is me late night. I think it was like 9. It's like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, normal, you know, at home. And I'm like, hey, how you getting these people? I'm like, you got to give me like, what is it that is allowing you to get people to let you, because it's amazing. You're so talented. You're amazing. And just as you're humble, like, and you're just super, super fucking cool. And you got to look and anyways, I could go on and on, but I'm like, you're doing such cool stuff. And I'm like, I think, you know, obviously I'm not going to put it on the girl next door, but I always tell people that too. I'm like, you know, there's a place and a time for everything. Like just because you see me designing the eyeliners a specific way, because everybody knows like, don't go past the crease, don't do this, don't do that. But, you know, there's always somebody that it is okay to do those different styles on. So there's that. And I remember I messaged, I'm like, Kelly, how you getting these people? So you want to tell everybody how you're getting these people, or are we going to keep that to ourselves?
Should we let them know? This is why they listen to the podcast, right?
I know, right?
For these juicy details. So I target primarily heavily tattooed individuals because I kind of realized, you know, it takes a lot of time to acquire that much body art. And I heavily doubt that their makeup tattoo will be the first tattoo they regret.
It's so smart. That's such a simple thought and so smart.
Genius.
She said
and
that to
a lot
me.
of times if they have like facial tattoos, I'm like, okay, definite green light. You know what I mean? They're not going to have a problem with it.
Yes. And it seems so simple. It seems like such a simple thought, but there's like, that's huge. Like there's really something to that. I have yet to even leave my house really, but all I do is work. But when I finally leave my house, I'm going to give it a shot. So you mentioned the lip blush that you did. And then so do you know, have you seen you probably haven't seen all the podcasts because they're dropping weekly, but we did mention you in a previous podcast. And I actually showed a photo of one of your glitter eyeliners. And do you want to talk about that a little bit? Like, where did that concept come from? How did you get there? When did you feel confident in doing something like that?
Well, the glitter tattoos kept popping up on my feed. It was like Instagram, TikTok, and I was really interested in them, and it was like pointillism. It was interesting. And I thought, well, why couldn't I do that with like eyeliner and make it a glitter eyeliner, so, kind of like a gradient in that. So I had no idea really what I was doing. Mm-hmm. I did and I didn't. I was like, okay, tools. in my mind, I see this coming together and I know logistically how to do this, but let's just see what happens, right? Because I told the client who was down to do it, I said, this will be the first time I did this. And if you don't like it, we'll cover it up with just a smoky liner. And she said, that's totally fine. So I let her pick the color concept and I picked out probably like 6 different shades of blue, a purple. So I actually pulled up an inspiration was that I believe it was a gummy bear or something. It was like a Sour Patch that somebody had gotten tattooed in the glitter finish style. And I looked at that photo and I kind of broke down the colors. So I pulled as many similar colors as I could. And I just did each color one layer at a time with little circles. to create this pointillism.
Yeah. It's funny because I feel like early on, so like as artists, we kind of develop. I always, studio full of artists over here, and they were all brand new. And I remember telling them there was a time where I was like, hey, and you've probably heard me say this, Sasha. I'm like, where we're in the studio, and I'm literally talking to the girls, and it's like, what I'm saying right now won't make sense, but you'll understand. And I'll be like, I feel it's gonna feel like I'm talking at you, but you'll get to a point where everything's just you'll just understand it. And it's almost like our brains do that with permanent makeup as well. We build these certain little skills along the way, because literally everything you said, I was like, just by you saying that, I'm like, oh, I could go do that right now. Because our brains develop these little skills along the way, and then we are able to connect the pieces and break something like that down, versus being a brand new artist and it's like, whew, right over your head. So definitely something that's more advanced, right? So like, but how fun to be able to get to that point.
Yeah, it is so much fun. And it's like, you do that and it turns out good and you just want to do 10 more, right? I haven't had the time to do other color concepts, but it's something that I need to plan out and put on the books. And, like you said, back to the full-time social media, it's like things get away from you so quickly. I'm sure this is similar for you, but I come in here Monday at 9 and I blink and it's Friday.
Literally. Literally. Sasha and I are looking at each other and like, we didn't get to sit together this week. And it's like, thank God I told Victor this morning, I better not tell you this, never mind. I literally told Victor this morning, I was like, if Sasha quits, I'm closing the business. Oh my God. I'm closing the business. I'm so dramatic, but I'm like, no, because it's so much. Literally like what you just said. Yeah. It's like, did Sasha and I even get to speak this week? How did she even know what to do? But she just has that brain. It's like, I'll wonder, like yesterday there was things that needed done. And I'm like, oh my God, they're stacking up in my brain. I look at her and she's like, I already put those deposits in. I already did this. I was like, oh my God, thank God for her. Because I'm like, because we don't get to do those other things if we don't have somebody that is so, that person within a business is so important. Because I feel like if you don't, like I would feel confident in saying like, she opens up enough of my day to allow me to sit down and find that time to block off, because that sounds so silly, but to be like, hey, message this person, I want to do this style. Are you down? Let's do it on this date. But we don't get to do fun stuff like that because we have so many other tasks that we literally have to pull ourselves out of that, sit down and be like, okay, I'm going to put this on the schedule because I got 5 minutes to breathe now. So like she helps me get my 5 minutes to breathe. So thanks, Sasha.
Yeah. Yes, always. We are ever so grateful for our social media managers.
Yes, yeah. And have you, I had another thought, with eyebrows, have you done many colored eyebrows?
I have done a pink to purple, and that was really pretty. But I remember when I was there in training, you had a unicorn brow on your books, and I was looking so forward to seeing that. Did the model fall through?
So we have a couple that we've done. Actually,
oh, really?
We just trademarked unicorn eyebrows.
Yeah.
I was like, I like it. It's cute. We're trademarking it. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care if I even do anything with it, but we're trademarking it.
Smart move.
That was so smart.
And long-lasting lippies. We just trademarked that. Can you believe Maybelline doesn't have that? Pay us $5 billion for that, please, Maybelline.
Are you serious?
Long-lasting lippies they don't have. Are you kidding? Anyways, another one for the books.
Yep. So interesting anecdote. So do you know Cardi B does not have trademarked?
Yes.
And I know the woman who actually trademarked it first. And Cardi B was not able to get her trademark because she did it first for a shirt she had printed.
So you're telling me that there is a chance that we could get a $5 billion payout from Maybelline?
I'm looking at every day.
If they want it bad enough, yes.
I know, right? Yeah. That's genius. But yeah, we've done, that's where mine has, I need to like jump to the next like area because I've done like a brown to pink. I've done a brown to purple. We did a red one. Yeah. We have a green one. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at Ari's. We just got a new lash gal in studio and she has blue eyebrows. She's going to let me tattoo those. She doesn't know it yet. But no, I've really just stopped at the brows. So I'm like, all right, Amber, get yourself outside that comfort zone. You got brain up there that can work, that can figure out these other things. So, yeah, it's just, approaching the people and finding them.
Just do like a model call,
Yeah.
Those work a lot. But yeah, I think it's just natural to want to do things like that, experimental work, like as an artist, like, okay, I have the concepts down for natural and the way it's done. How can I take this up a notch?
Yeah. Well, I think, we have, which one did we film? Was it the purple that we were going to give out as like a little freebie thing?
Yeah.
We're so behind because when I say how great it is to have somebody doing stuff, but then the work comes back. It comes back around because now you got to sit and look through. So I had a virtual assistant for the last 6 months. So she was knocking shit out like left and right. And with that though comes full circle because she did the work and I still have yet to sit down and like review the work. So I'm like, we have so much content that we're backed up on that haven't released quite yet, that it's like even that part kind of gets overwhelming. But there is a purple eyebrow already filmed, ready to go.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, girl, I'll give it to you. I'll shoot. Yeah,
it's so pretty too.
It is so pretty.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite one that you've done.
I'm like, was that just a straight purple or was that the brown to purple? Did I do the blend? I can't even remember.
I'm pretty sure it was the blend.
It was the blend?
Because it's how she did her makeup every day. She would blend it like that, yeah. I'm pretty sure.
They healed fire.
Yeah.
Like fire.
Yeah.
Do you want to mention like any pigments or anything that you're using, or you want to keep that on? Because I know people get weirded out about that sort of stuff.
I mean, no.
Like what kind of machine do you use? What needles do you use? Pigment lines do you prefer? Like.
Okay, so I have, I use the machines. I use different machines, but lately I've been liking, it's like a masked handle and I use the Vertex needles. They're like a 0.35 mm. That sound right? And believe it or not, I'm really liking when I do these vivid color things, I'm really liking the payoff from World Famous ink.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, because I think a lot of people, there is a girl, God, where is she located? I don't know if I should name drop or not, but you've probably seen her maybe online. If not, I should send you her information because she literally, I've never spoke to her, but kills it with colorful, mainly eyebrows. She's done some smoky, like soft smoky transition with eyeliners. I want to say she's in the UK, but that's pretty much her work in its entirety. But yeah, so a lot of people, like I said, I know I don't want to be like too pushy because I know some people like to hold like that information like with pigments and stuff, but I'm like, I think more people should talk about it and share what that about me though. I'm like, ask me anything. I'll tell you what I'm using. Don't ask me right now because I'd have to look up I'd have to look up my notes because I have such a bad memory with what I did. But if you ask me a certain one, I'm like, yeah, hold on. Let me go find the picture in my camera roll. I can find the date and I can find my notes for that picture. So yeah. Anything.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the community's for, to share tips. I mean, we're not really, and it's like people have to get out of this mindset with like you're competing with, the person next door or the person, anybody. You're competing with yourself. You're competing with who you were yesterday, and you just want to be. It's not the best energy to put out there when it's all about what's the word, like gatekeeping nonstop.
Yeah.
Like there's a time and a place, and I understand that, but to a certain extent, it really just holds you back.
I agree. I think if you feel that way, you shouldn't be teaching. That's just an opinion of mine. But yeah. Speaking of that, I actually wanted to ask, do you offer any hands-on training? Do you do any classes, or how, tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, I offer brows, lips, and liner, but the brows are definitely the most popular. And I really have been back and forth on doing that for a while. And I started doing it, I believe, was it last year or the beginning of this year? I can't even remember because I can't mentally separate the months and timeline in my mind. But lately I've been really busy with that. And it's really, I really enjoy doing it. It's really gratifying to do and see somebody come in, have no clue, and then later they'll send you their strokes on fake skin, or somebody they mapped and it's perfect. You're like, it's so fulfilling.
Yeah. How long did you say you've been offering training now?
It was either the end of last year, beginning of this year. I can't quite remember. Something, because during my pregnancy and stuff, that was just like a big blur.
Like lost track of time. Every time somebody asks me how long's it been, I'm okay, I think it's been 3 months. So I'm going to say 6 months because it goes by so fast.
Exactly. That's exactly how I feel. I can't. Oh, and somebody says, oh, that was last week. In my mind, I'm like, geez, that felt like last month.
Tanya just said something to me yesterday. She said, she's like, yeah, well, you're like, your thing is eyeliner. And I'm like, well, I didn't choose it. Like, I don't know what happened there. Like, it just turned into this thing. And she's like, well, I want my thing to be airy brows. I was in the kitchen and she said that to me yesterday, and I was like, oh, airy brows. Okay. So I'm like, do you feel like one thing turned into your thing?
Let me think about this. Maybe like ombre lip blushing, I think maybe in this area at least. Like I seem to do a lot of those. Or maybe like colorful things, tattoo related. I think maybe that would be a question for like consumers in my area, I guess, what they would think of me first.
Me
as far as
looking
my work.
at you online, do you want to hear my opinion, what it feels like?
Yes, please. Yes.
It feels like you've been killing it with like fluffy hair strokes over
Thank you.
corrections. I've seen a few of those.
Yes.
But you're doing them very, very well. And usually I'm somebody, maybe that's why it's standing out to me. Well, that and the glitter eyeliner, of course, because I'm like, I'm fucking doing that. But those hair strokes on those corrections, I'm like, okay. I'm like, hold on, okay. Because I'm zooming in, I'm looking, I'm like, no, she's doing these well. Like, you're doing them very well. So it's like something that's really standing out in my mind, like from looking at your page.
Thank you. There's just something orgasmic about just layering the hair strokes. Like, oh yeah, so oh yeah. It's like when you're watching somebody do a lamination. It's like, oh yeah, just push that up as far as you can. I don't know. I just love it.
Oh my gosh.
Like the wolfy brow. It's like, here comes Madonna.
That's
like,
what
right?
it feels like. No, like I feel that
back.
through your photos. Like,
yeah. Like I hear the song She Wolf, I'm doing the hair strokes. Like, yes. Love it.
Oh my gosh. So with those, you're not going to be able to have a straight up question for this. Well, one, I have a question. Are you doing 3 round like shaders? Are you doing single needle for those hair strokes? What are you doing?
Single needle.
And then are you separating? So is there a limit to the amount of correction you will take on in order to do a more hair stroke style on top of that correction? Or are you pushing boundaries with that too?
Yeah, if the existing powder brow or whatever they have is, too ashy, too gray, I'll say, listen, let's do a color correction session first, let it heal, and then go over top.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe, they'll want to do a round of the removal. Or maybe like if they're too uneven or something, I'll say, maybe just seek out a laser remover service. It just kind of is case to case, I believe.
Yeah. No, good answer, because that's kind of what I was thinking. That's why I was like, I don't know if you can answer this really, or if it's going to take us, because it's such an in-depth thing. Yeah. For
sure. And it's interesting too, because, you don't want to see too much gray behind the hair strokes, right? Mm-hmm. So sometimes you can completely camouflage it. And sometimes it's like, when those heal, I might have to go in a spot or two and kind of introduce some orange and balance that out a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I have a very similar outlook on that. Like, so like separating them, the session sometimes not. Sometimes you can do, it just all depends on like where that, I guess, correction is lying, what the color looks like, and all those sorts of things too. But that again goes back to like, I guess our main topic is, being able to push the boundaries and being able to have those thoughts through it. Like, there was something recently, I'm blanking, my brain's not working this week, but there was something recently where I was like, oh, I put the puzzle piece together. Like I felt it. I have moments from time to time where I'll look at something and I'm like, 3 years ago I wouldn't have thought it like that. But now I'm grabbing, it's like, oh, I'm grabbing 2 pieces and putting them together, and I'm like, that's why that will work. But I can't even remember what it was. I wish I could give them an example.
I remember the conversation though. You were super excited.
I was super excited. I get super excited when things like that happen. I'm like, I'm a magician. I figured it out.
Was it with the brow?
It'll hit you when the podcast is over.
Right.
I'll drop it in the comments and so it looks like they got to listen and then go look at the comments if I have to remember that thought. I told you that's why Sasha's here today, because I need somebody. I'm like, girl, if I can't talk through this, you're going to have to hop in and help me.
I can't even remember.
Anything you want to tell them about yourself, Miss Thing over there that's looking so pretty?
It's like you said earlier, it's like cringe, right? When you talk about yourself, or,
I know.
It's like, there's more interesting things, just, I don't know.
I don't know.
I like
She's
red.
like, I like red.
Yeah, I
You
like
know,
red.
what's funny is I was actually thinking, I'm like, why is it the last 2 people I brought on have had red hair? People are going to be like, she only bring on people that have red hair. I'm like,
And if I
Birds
still
of
have
a
my red
feather.
hair,
huh. I know. And Sasha had hers too. She just got rid of hers recently. So when they come in the studio, it's like, they're like, do you have to have red hair to work here?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, we have one that has purple. We have one that has who knows what color all the time. Brisa, you never know.
Yeah.
I'm like, now we got
When
Ari.
When I came, everybody had vivid hair, I do believe.
Yeah, different hair. Like, I actually was just saying that. Like, everybody's going to have different hair. You don't know what kind of music we're going to be playing on what day. It might be country. It might be pop. It might be rock and roll. It might be hip hop. We don't know what we're doing. We're just going with the flow.
we're a mixture of things.
Yeah, depending on the day. Kelly, this is going to be a thing. I just made a thing. Kelly, what is your horoscope sign?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's pretty obvious.
Okay, now I know.
Oh.
After what she just said, what is she? She's a Tanya.
Aquarius?
Yes, it is. Correct.
Off of what she just said.
What she just said?
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, I think it's pretty obvious.
I
That's
thought I was
totally
a Sag.
Tanya.
I thought I was a Sag. I was like,
No, not like that. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I was going to guess Taurus possibly too.
Maybe.
Yeah. But okay.
No,
yeah,
that was totally. I was like, I see you, girl. How would you see? I'm good at that. He's over there smiling. I was like, yeah, I see you over there. You thought I was gonna get that wrong. I'm gonna ask everybody. We're gonna get so good at this.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at it too. But you know what? You got that one. You got that one. You take it.
Oh, that's funny. All right, girl. I think we are at about time. Do you feel like you sure? You're over there being quiet for an Aquarius. You sure you ain't got nothing?
I'm just taking it all in. I'm listening. I have a bad habit of I swear I have like ADD. I have a bad habit of cutting people off when I talk. So I was kind of just waiting for my turn.
Same.
Because it's like, okay, thought, and it'll be gone if I don't say it then and there, right? It's already left.
Okay, she does kind of sound like a Sagittarius.
Yeah, it's Amber all day.
I literally say that. I'm like, I'm so sorry I'm cutting you off, but if I don't say it, I'm going to forget it, and I'm so sorry.
That's exactly why.
Well, I tried to ask you all the fun stuff that was on my brain.
Yeah, just experimental PMU, here for it. I love seeing it. And another thing I'm dying to get to do is rainbow freckles.
Oh, girl, I got it on my list too.
Yeah, those are fun.
I believe it's Daisy Lovesick in Australia. I love her content. I just love seeing how she does those freckles, and she'll like blend it in with like natural freckles and stars on their face. And I just think it's so cute for obviously the proper client, but it's beautiful.
No, yeah, I love that too. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's been on my list for a while. I'm like, that's something that, I'm going to do an eyeliner first, though, because eyeliner I feel more comfortable with. Those freckles have to come way later.
Yeah, eyeliner's your thing, so makes sense.
Ooh, I don't know why. Ooh, I don't like it.
Well, if they are like, oh, can we make these natural? That would be like the most interesting, complex color correction of all time, I think.
Yeah.
You might be better off just removing them. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think what's funny, you just mentioned that, because I actually think that through sometimes with the eyebrows, for instance. I'm like, okay, if I do a red eyebrow, worst case, it's going to fade out pink. Okay, we're not going to laser these because there's probably some white in my pigment, because I use the lip pigment, so I probably shouldn't do that. So maybe one day when they go pink, because they're going to go a softer version pink, well, then I can color correct them with my brown mod, my green neutralizer, and they'll go back to brown. We'll be totally fine. Sure, got you. I'll totally do that. That's a whole ass conversation that I have in my head before I say yes to something.
Yeah, because you have to be a couple steps ahead. Like, okay, when they change their opinion, because they're always going to come back to you most of the time, you know, and you got to be like mentally prepared. Like, oh, okay, I got this.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, girl. I'm going to make sure that, well, first, let me ask you, do you care if people reach out to you if they have questions about some more like experimental, like PMU stuff, or?
Not at all. That would be awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, because we'll put your tag in the details so people can find you. You want to give a shout out to your social media handles real quick, and then we'll say goodbye?
Yes, thank you so much. We are Kelly Kreation Salon on TikTok, Kelly Kreation on Instagram, and Kelly Kreation on Facebook.
Love that. Makes you easy to find.
Yep.
Yep, just simple, with a K. Kreation with a K.
Kelly Kreation with a K. Got it. All right, girl. Thank you so much for joining us. You're
Thank you
amazing.
so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, girl, we will see you later. And for you guys listening, make sure to check out Kelly. And again, girl, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you guys for listening. And we will see you guys next time. Bye. Bye, Kelly.
Thank you.
Bye, Kelly.